Well, I'm back, and to say it's been hot up here would be an understatement. At some points it nearly reached 40 degrees, and there was no way I was going to be able to do anything up here. And so I started talking about doing a running session, and that all went wrong as well, because my Hornby app decided to give out, and nearly half my locos stopped working due to the Hornby app. Such a flaky app, it was slowing down. Then all I did was move some of my locos around, the selection. I moved them up and down on the roster, and that was enough to lock me out of the app. And whatever I did, clear the cache as people suggested online and do other various things, I couldn't get the app to start up. So I had to take the horrible decision to reinstall the app and every loco on my layout, and I've got over 30 odd locos that are on the Hornby app. So what a big headache, and this took me over a day to put right. And I did that on the Monday just gone, which was quite warm, and as you can imagine I was losing my rag a little bit, but it has cooled down a bit, and as I promised, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a running session and a walk around the layout. And the actual problem, so I read, is picture files being too large. So I think you overload the amount of memory that the pictures are allowed to take on the app if you have too high resolution pictures. Even though I took the pictures with my tablet, and that's not a particularly good camera, I suppose the amount that I've got, having a nice little picture of each one, caused the problem. So in future I don't think I'm going to bother to have nice little pictures of things. It's a nice novelty idea, but if you've got more than probably a dozen locos, it's going to give you issues, and being locked out of the app is not a great thing. It really screwed my plans up for doing this running session and put me behind on filming. By the way, thank you for all the comments on my latest build of the cement factory and the quarry as a whole, really finishing it off. As I often say, there's always more you can add, and I will be adding more detail as I go along, but that project pretty much is finished now, and I'll be looking for a new project when the weather gets a bit cooler, which could be a while really. I might do a few little bits and pieces, but yeah, a major project this time of year up in the loft with 30 degrees plus of heat is just not on. I'm just actually running things in very carefully because of the heat, and in some cases not running them or running too much at once, so I don't overtax the system. I've got plans to sort of re-detail some of the stuff I've done already. I would like to add more to the station and make it a little bit more realistic here and there. Add a bit more detail that actually reflects the station it's supposed to be, which is Broxbourne, and maybe add extra things to things like the Royal Mail Depot, which seems to be your favourite after my little poll, and other little sort of dioramas on the layout. And there's engine sheds that I would like to go through, possibly adding more detail or even changing. So there's quite a lot of stuff I can do, as well as general maintenance, a bit of weathering of some of my stock still. I've still got some of my coaches, I've got some of my raw mail coaches that need weathering. The underframes are still looking quite plastic as I haven't weathered them, which you'll probably see in this running session. I've got loads of little bits and pieces, so I am keeping very busy. Even though I'm retired, I don't like to waste a day though playing about with a tablet and software. Thanks to Hornby again. Well, yeah, it's one of those things. Oh yeah, I've got one of these. I've actually taken a plunge and bought a Class 37 Accurascale, and this is the construction sector loco, and because I'm into 37s, as you know, I couldn't let it pass by. I had to have a Class 37 from Accurascale because I haven't got one. Believe it or not, I didn't bother with the first runs, as they did sort of, well, people let it be known that there was problems and issues with them coming off the track and other things, so I thought I don't need any more issues at the moment, so I give it a miss. But after my Class 50s, which were wonderful locos and the sound on them are excellent, I decided to take the plunge before they all went out of stock. So I should be getting this out during the running session. Anyway, I'll stop waffling now, because I think I've been waffling. I've sort of gone over a few things and I really can't think of anything more to say. So without further ado, we'll run some locos, shall we? Well, that's the list I had to reinstall. As you can see, it's a long one. Anyway, I've got my Accurascale 37 out now, and I'm just going to take out the box and run it in. Well, she's out of the box and on the track, and well done, Accurascale. This is the first loco I've had from you that nothing fell off. I'm quite impressed, and hopefully long may it continue. Anyway, I'll start her up and see what she sounds like, and I'll start to run her in. First impressions are really good. I mean, the sound's not set way too loud like it has been in the past, and there's virtually if no vibration from the speaker at all. Sounds very clear and quite a pure sound. Anyway, we'll just drive her off and see what she sounds like as she pulls away. That's quite smart, quite subtle sound. I don't know if this was recorded from Cardiff, Canton, up at the Great Central Railway, because I did have a feeling they were up there recording. I do love the sound of that loco when I'm standing on the station listening to it. It does sound very similar. Yeah, impressed with that. It's more subtle sound than any other loco I've got on my layout, or any of my 37 locos on my layout. Like that. She actually runs pretty smooth straight out of the box. Barely run her in one direction so far. And she's running really smooth. Hardly any hesitation at all. You do get quite a lot of jerkiness with different other brands, but Accurascale seems to have mastered this, and straight out of the box she's running quite smooth. Very impressed. Very sweet sound. So let's give her some power now and see what she sounds like. It's actually quite nice to sit here and chill out after all that heat, just listening to this new loco go round my loft, because boy was it hot up here, and you just can't think straight with all that sort of heat. So it's a real pleasure to just sit here. I've just finished fitting the buffer beam detail to the Accurascale 37. Not one of my favourite jobs, tedious as you may guess if you've tried it yourself. What I did notice while I was doing it, that the aerial on top of the bonnet is made of metal, which is great compared with previous models from other companies that have been plastic and can easily be broken. So having that as a metal sort of part is yeah, a good idea. I also fitted out my backman with buffer beam detail as well. Same thing really. I would say the Accurascale was a bit more fiddly than the backman, but it's all done now. And I can now start to relax and run trains. I've also got a lot of other trains I need to do buffer beam detail and put drivers in them as well as under frame weathering. So plenty of jobs to do. I've got my cab cam all set up, ready to go, and I'll take you through the engine sheds to start with, and you can see what detail I've got at the moment, and I might talk about stuff I'm going to add. Anyway, we'll move this into position and I'll take it through the sheds. I'll take you through the main maintenance shed as slow as possible really, so you can see what's inside the shed for a longer period of time, I suppose. Right, time to pick up speed and pull out the sheds. I think what I'll do is take you through the other side of the shed, the other direction. Right, now hopefully everything goes right this time. I'm going to take you into my coach shed, which is down the end of my layout to the right of the main part of the TMD. So here goes. but it does help to know when to go in the right direction. Oh, something always goes wrong. And this time, behind the shed, I didn't notice it, there was a sea cow wagon. I must have forgotten all about it. I've just had to interrupt the running session yet again, as now the Accurascale 37, it's got too much detail again, and the sand pipes are catching. I don't know what happened, but they're catching, and the front coupling, I did glue the hook to the chain and keep it out of the way of the NIM socket, but somehow that had dangled down a bit and was inhibiting the bogie moving, and I decided to take the actual NIM pocket out completely rather than just have the NIM pocket empty, as there's less chance of it banging onto any of the detail at the front. But yeah, with all this extra detail comes extra problems. It looks lovely, but it can affect the performance, and being locked out of the app is not a great thing. It really screwed my plans up for doing this running session. So thanks to Hornby for wasting over a day of my life. Any rate, we'll get on with the running session. I think I'm going to give up filming today. It's just derailed again. This time not the loco, the train. And it's just taken down one of my overhead power line posts. I don't know if it's due to the heat, as it's cooled down a bit now, but I'm not having a lot of luck. Yeah, maybe I'll chuck it in. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a running session and a walk around the layout, and just a general sort of walk around, really, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah. If I think of something, I'll add to this point. At the moment, I've run out of what to say, but I'm talking rubbish again.